Welcome back to Real Talk, where we are talking about some of the myths people may have when they're looking to purchase their home. And we're here to debunk those myths. And I'm here with Joe. Joe, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're picking up from myth number 6. If you haven't seen our episode last week, we talk about the first 5 of 10 myths that Christian and I always hear as buyer's agents from would-be clients. And myth number 6 is, once you finally get that home under contract, you're super excited, you have the home inspection, but you come in with this expectation that the results must be perfect, otherwise it's a bad house.
Yeah, we hear this a lot, especially, after we, going through the inspections. And a lot of inspectors like to, pick at everything.
That's what they're paid to do.
Right?
They're very thorough,
That's what you're paying for, right? So I'm glad that they're doing that. But at the same time, you have to consider what's important and what's not important. What are things that you want to potentially request from the seller as a credit, or what are the things that you will just take up on your own, right? So let's touch upon a little bit of that and how maybe someone should kind of attack that situation.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is a frame of mind too, and expectations. Unless it's a new construction house, and even those have things on a home inspection. This house has been standing for 20, 50, maybe even 100 years. A lot of people are buying condos and homes that were built in the 1920s. You have to come in with the understanding that there are going to be a lot of minutia items on there that just come with an existing home. They're nothing that you should necessarily run away from. I like to tell my clients it's a whole home health checkup, and it's basically telling you this is the health of your home. Think about the little things, those little cuts and bruises. That doesn't mean you're gonna die, the house isn't gonna fall apart. They're just little things that you need to keep up with as a homeowner. What you really should be focusing on are big ticket items that may make this home unaffordable for you. What are some big ticket items that you see that would be maybe a red flag on an inspection?
Yeah, right off the bat, right? We were talking about the HVAC, we're talking about roof, we're talking about foundation.
Evidence of water intrusion or active leaks or recent leaks, flooding, water stains, old electrical panels, faulty wiring, unstable wall, things that could be hazardous are definitely fair game for asking the seller for a credit, even in a competitive situation where there were potentially multiple offers. So that's definitely a huge myth. It's an obstacle every buyer has to overcome. But once you break it down, really look at things, it's usually easy to keep the deal together and move forward. Everything's negotiable in real estate. So long as we can meet the minds between buyers and sellers, we can keep it together. After the home inspection, that a lot of buyers start to think, oh, my real estate agent is only in it for the sale. They're not in it for me. Let's quickly debunk that one. Obviously, it's a myth.
A little bit biased.
Of course, we are a little bit biased, but have real conversations with your agent and use your best judgment and really feel them out early in the process to see if this person really has your best interest in mind. And really go with your gut. And, you'll know throughout the showing process and seeing homes and talking with them and communicating, picking up the clues on who they're in it for. Are they in it for themselves? Or are they in it for you?
And it's part of our duties, right? It's
Absolutely. We're licensed. We have a code of ethics that we follow. I know Christian and I do very closely. Our number one priority is you as the client.
Exactly. And, for additional insight, I came into this industry as an agent to help out others, especially since I went through that same process, and I wanted to make it as easy as possible for someone like me. And for me, it's more so making that process enjoyable and smooth for you. And I'm not here for the money, right? Obviously, it's part of how we make our living, but at the end of the day, we enjoy it. At least I do. I enjoy it a lot.
We love what we do.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not just here for the money, although we do live off of the commissions, but we also enjoy the process that we provide and our services that we provide, right? It's a very enjoyable process for us, and
they become clients for life. So we wouldn't want to get a client into a house that in 6 months, 3 years they're unhappy with, because just like you, we keep in touch with our clients forever.
Definitely.
Now, myth number 8 kind of goes back to the beginning of the search process, and what is our 8th myth that we want to debunk?
That the springtime is always the best time to buy a home. I guess you could say it's a great time to buy a home. However, is it the best time to find a great deal? Potentially, but let's talk a little bit about this, just because recent trends, it may be a little difficult to actually get into home ownership this spring.
Yeah, if you're trying to buy your house around a calendar, you're not going to have as much success as really reading the market.
Correct.
And finding and buying the house that actually works for you, because we're in a challenging low inventory market. Homes that work for you in your price point, in your preferred area, that have most of your requirements aren't coming along very often. And so when that house does come along, that's the time you should buy that house, not simply because of the time of year.
Usually it also aligns with, better weather, right? After getting away from all this cold weather, a lot of people like to go out and show houses at that point, right? But recently, we've seen so much demand even after Thanksgiving. For me, it's been crazy after Thanksgiving.
As soon as that new year ticked to January 1st, I don't know about you, but my phone started blowing up with people ready to look. The myth that comes after that kind of ties in because people think the best time to buy is the spring. Then once they get that home in the spring, it's going to immediately increase in value, and that somehow those two are related.
Yeah, this is a myth that I hear a lot, especially, right? People think that your investment automatically gives you a bunch of equity or something like that, but in reality, it takes time to build that equity.
When you close on the home, your initial equity is your down payment,
Exactly.
So that your money is locked in there. But that doesn't mean the home value is going to grow by some certain metric that's set in stone.
Although recently we've seen a lot of appreciation just given the low supply and the amount of demand we've had. So we've seen a lot of people, purchasing homes for over asking and whatnot, but it doesn't not necessarily that all homes will be the same, right? And then it's all specific to the different neighborhoods. And we can talk about all the different hot markets within Chicago, and we can talk about all the different suburbs. There are very many hot spots that you should consider as well. If that's part of your plan or investment, goal to have great appreciation, talk to your real estate agent, because not all markets will be providing that best appreciation.
And when you're thinking about the best time to buy, I usually tell clients, buy when nobody else is buying.
Definitely.
Because sellers have more motivation to potentially come down on price, offer concessions or credits because there's no competition. So then if you buy when no one's buying, let's say last quarter when rates were higher, long days on market, prices were coming down, then if you closed, fast forward to this coming spring, you are going to see that instant increase in value that you're looking for, because now that demand is up. A lot of people are still following the schedule of buying in the spring, higher competition, higher prices. That's when you're going to see that huge increase in value. So the two are correlated in most ways and in most markets, because you want to buy when no one else is buying. Usually get the best deal. If you're buying when everyone else is buying, you're going to pay for that.
I kind of want to touch upon another, myth you can consider as a bonus myth, right? I think a lot of people also ask, when should I buy? Or when is the right time to buy? Similar myth that we were talking about, right? But people think that they should be waiting for a certain time to buy, whether that's the spring or time in terms of weather or kind of quarter of the year. However, my belief is you should buy when you're ready to buy, and whether the interest rates are high or low, that plays a lot into your financial situation. However, with the current trends, the right time is whenever you're ready. As long as you can make those payments work with whatever current interest rates are right now, you can definitely refinance later. But I think the other thing that people ask a lot is, should I be buying now compared to later? A lot of people regret not getting in sooner. And that's what I've been hearing a lot, that a lot of people regret that.
It's not like playing the stock market where you got to buy on this day and sell on this day. It's nothing like that, actually. But that leads into our final number 10 myth, when you were talking about rates, and if this is a house that you can afford and it's the right time for you. Is the mortgage rate the only thing that you should consider in your costs of buying a home?
Obviously, it's a big aspect of buying a home, right? It's going to determine what your monthly expenses are going to look like. However, the interest rates are not the only cost that you guys should be considering.
From a monthly perspective.
Right? Mortgage interest rates are not the only cost to consider, right? There's other costs to consider, especially if you're buying in a condo. Those HOAs, if you're buying in a managed building, your HOAs can be crazy to the point that your monthly expenses are out of your budget at that point, even though you're well within your pre-approved budget. That's one of them. What else do we have to consider?
Property taxes.
Oh, yes.
So your monthly payment is made up of your principal, your interest, your taxes for property, which are usually paid 1/12. So every month you pay 1/12 of your annual tax bill. and your homeowner's insurance, which can be typically around $100 plus, depending on the size of your home. And then on top of that, your HOA. So when you see a house that looks like at surface value, oh, this is in my budget, well, you kind of have to do a little more math, and that's where Christian and I come in as your buyer's agent. We say, okay, here's a breakdown of your monthly payment. We're going to factor in your taxes and your HOA, your interest rate, your estimated insurance to give you an actual snapshot of your monthly payment. Two homes at the same price can have dramatically different payments.
Oh yeah.
Because one has an HOA that's $700 and one has an HOA that's $300.
When you get pre-approved, that budget amount is a great starting point, right? I think a lot of people have to consider their monthly expenses and try to shop around that monthly expense. Like I said, HOAs can dramatically increase your monthly costs as well as property taxes. That a higher purchase or a higher priced property could be actually less expensive monthly than a lower priced property, right? And so big thing to consider, or at least those two other additional costs to consider when purchasing your home.
Yeah, it's not just about the purchase price, it's also about the monthly payment.
Exactly.
So I always talk to my lenders or the lender that my buyer's using and say, hey, what is the maximum allowable monthly payment for this client?
Yeah, and we have the right tools to give you guys a really, really great estimate of what your monthly costs are going to look like. However, do definitely talk to your lender for a better estimate on what your monthly costs are going to look like.
Absolutely. All right, well, I'm sure we'll have more myths for you coming up soon. If you have any that you'd like us to cover, let us know in the comments. Again, don't forget to like and follow our channel. So Christian, thanks for joining me today and debunking some of these myths here on Real Talk, and we'll catch you back here next time.